This is Sudha Live. It's been such a long week, and I actually felt that the week was longer in the last 10 minutes because Restream did not connect to LinkedIn and failed me many, many times. So, thank you for those of you who are hanging in there with me and ready to still be here live and explore what's happening in the world of AI with me. I appreciate that. And if anybody here works in Restream or anybody has friend who works in Restream, I want you to find that Restream friend for me, because every time I have any difficulty, I chat with Restream people. They're very, very helpful. But I sometimes have direct streaming that goes through. Sometimes I run into issues. So I'm streaming from Restream directly from Restream itself. So I'm not using RTMP to connect to other things because that is the one that's failing. So I start off usually from Zoom and then go to that, but that Zoom thing is not working for me. So I'm going to get out of my Zoom window and I'm going to stay on Restream and talk to you right from here. So hope you're feeling good today and ready for the weekend. And I know many friends who are out in the ready for the holiday and already taken off and stuff like that. Okay, so for me, I've been sharing so much on online, so you know where I am at any given point. I'm back home. I was in New Orleans for NeurIPS, and NeurIPS is wrapping up this week. I came back a couple days back, and I was part of another event. So I'm going to bring both the updates for you. And the thing with NeurIPS is because it was it's all AI and researchers, so it's cutting edge research, and you're listening, they're looking for feedback. It felt very different from going to a typical tech event where it's a little bit more, I've got this amazing innovation and listen to me kind of, uh, tone and vibe to that. So I could see the difference. There is researchers also from many of the big companies who are here and at other events, but the attitude was very different. So I'm going to bring a little bit summary, because I went with Global South in AI with Susanna Raj, and we had 5 people who presented live poster session, and we had a whole beautiful workshop. So what I'm going to bring to you is a summary of to give you a taste of the workshop. That's one thing. We had total of 34 papers, and other than the live ones, everything else is going to be a virtual poster on the 19th. So I'm going to give you information on how to join the virtual posters and see what the different poster research has come from Global South, different applications from on generative AI from various different countries and languages and applications, and give feedback, talk to me. So that's on the 19th. I'm going to bring that to you. I'm going to give you a summary of the new rips from workshop only. I don't have information on the posters because we didn't record them much. I think I did record one of them, but one of the things I did do is, as you go through New Orleans, you see so much music everywhere. Women in Machine Learning did a huge party and beautiful dinner and amazing music. And so we did attend that. And then, I just walked around. There was one poster session called Creative AI, and it was about generative AI related to creativity. So music and sound, music and um, generation of images is the common theme, but applications of that, I got to see about 5 or 6 of those posters. Couple of them connected with me, so I'm going to bring that for you and what I saw and what was interesting. What else I got? So the New Rips one, other than that, generally when you go through New Orleans, there's so much art and music and pictures. I could not actually bring that to you in this setting the way that I'm going to show you right here on Restream. But what I'm doing is I'm compiling all of them. It becomes about half an hour recording. So I want to see whether I can bring it, reduce it down, do a little editing, and then post it for you. And for those of you who are regulars with me, you know that everything that I share here is going to go on the Jamte newsletter. I haven't done the Jamte newsletter last year because Parya was out. She had her midterm exam. She's back now. So she'll keep me on track, and we'll resume the Jamthe newsletter. Back on Monday evening is when the Jamthe newsletter goes out. So the events, the jobs, the research calls, anything that I'm going to share here, the recording of this recording of Sudha Live, all the other stuff that I'm promising, an edited version from NeurIPS, overall summary, all of that will be shared there. So that's the plan. And it happens usually when we focus on something, we get to see more of that around us. I don't know if that's what happened. It was not just social media feed, but I was in New Orleans in the middle of music and art, and then I just felt like my feed was full of opportunities related to art. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to show you one, and you tell me if I'm kind of being biased here. Um, One second. Let me go see whether are you guys here. Let me see who is here. Okay. Hi, Adil. How are you? Um, so I'm seeing the numbers. I just see the count, and I see the count going up. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging around. You know, introduce yourself or say hello. And I see a whole community building up here. You're all coming on Friday or Saturday if you're already Saturday in your part of the world. So talk to me. I'm going to share an update from NeurIPS from the conference on the AI research workshops we did from Global South in AI. And some of the posters are going to be shared much later in my summary. But I saw a lot of creative AI stuff. That's the thing I'm going to bring to you. So let me see. So I see more numbers going up. Please, please, please. I want to know who you are. Say hello. And as I'm talking, if you hear something that's interesting, you can, send some emojis, I'm sure. But I would like for you to talk to me or, ask questions and, make this more interactive, because that's better for my energy. And, you can get, me talking and stay focused on what you want me to do if you ask me questions or ask a comment. So one of the so I was saying, that I was immersed and I was seeing art and music everywhere, but suddenly it showed up on my feed also. So one of my students, Rahim Adatya, is a business leader, and he shared an amazing video by Alan Warburton about AI from the perspective of an artist. And he says, especially part 3 and 5 are good. I love the whole thing. I'm going to see how I can share this with you, and you have to tell me if the sound is coming through, because we've had this thing with Restream in the past. How do I share my window? Okay, here I go. Okay, and I'm going to, it's off and on. Okay, so somebody tell me you're able to hear the video. Okay, we hear the sound also. This is from a point of view of an artist. This is the piece that Rahim had said. Part two. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this. I want to see whether you guys had any observation, comments. It's beautifully done. Thank you, Rahim, for sharing this. And I will actually post this right now on the LinkedIn. And maybe you guys can see more of it, right? Let me see if there are comments. Oh, God, no idea. Okay. Um, I will go back. I'm playing that same game of no audio, guys, by going to restream. Why is it doing this to me? Let me make another attempt. Okay. Now, are you guys able to see the, are you able to hear it? Okay. Were you guys able to hear that when I shared this time? Somebody please respond back to me. And I will go back to share that screen again. If you're able to hear it, we're going to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to hear me talk today. I'm not going to go back to sharing screens and doing anything if I cannot. You cannot hear my voice. You cannot hear the window that I'm sharing. And somebody, please find. Okay, are you able to hear now? Did you hear the word fuge when I shared the screen? When I shared, I just went and shared a screen. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Hey, we're in this here. Hi, Susanna. Thank you for finding the time to come back. You hung around with me all week long and put in so much work at Global South in AI. So I appreciate you coming back. Okay, so I shared a window to show. Let me put that what Rahim was what Rahim Adatya was giving us. I wanted to see whether you are able to share that. Um, I'm going to put that here on LinkedIn, and tell me if you guys were able to see that. I mean, you were able to hear. I just shared a little bit, and if that worked, then it means that I can share a few more of those. If it doesn't, then that's a problem. Then I'm just not going to do more of that, guys. I'll just leave it. Okay. So that's my plan. Okay. Somebody comment. I'm going to go back, look at the comments now. Yes, I want to see whether you're able to see the comments. We hear you, but no audio from the share. Okay, so when I share, it's not coming through, then no more sharing today. So I'm just going to put the links that I'm going to talk about here. Whatever you saw while it was all silent was this question asked to Kanye West, saying, when Kanye and Elon Musk meet, what do they talk about? And he said the future. And so it is a very interesting follow up to that, and analysis, and looking at whole AI and tech from a point of view of uh, an artist. It's very eloquently done, very beautifully done. So I'm going to share this back on the newsletter for you to uh, go see the links and everything all on your own. But I appreciate you. No, we saw you smiling. Of course, I'm smiling. I'm very happy to be here. This is my happy place talking to you guys. I feel so energized. I just wish I could show you stuff that was, with voice, not just my voice all the time. Okay, so that was an interesting thing from the point of view of an artist. So you'll have to wait to see that all by yourself. I'm going to share a window. That there is no need for sound. It is just a window. Where is my share again? I think that is the one, if I remember right. Okay, let me go. Okay, now you can hear me, right? Niharika Haridas is somebody who was invited to join the Digital Economist. There was an event on December 14th. I came back from NeurIPS early morning. I joined a panel. This was called, and thank you, Olu, for inviting me. This is called Redefining Boundaries 2023 in Review. And I was in the panel. I got involved right while they were building the agenda. They said they built the whole event in 2 weeks. I was shocked. I did not know that. So I was told there's going to be an ethical AI panel. You should be part of that. So that's where I was. There was Monica Manolova, Richard Foster Fletcher, Sharon Matthew, and Jubu Elias and Marisa Zalabak. And Monica is also an educator in the bringing AI to everybody, and participates in AI regulation. Richard had a very beautiful quote. I believe Naharika has included that quote. uh, how we humans have used our powers of social learning, our ability to imitate, to construct social norms and traditions. This makes us extremely susceptible to influence, but it also allows for emergence of culture and the rapid exchange of ideas, the very thing that has allowed us to dominate the planet. So this is very nice. I actually thought it set the stage for how we were thinking about ethics, and whether it is inclusive of all cultures and everything else. So I love this, and I'll share this link also so you can see the overall summary of this. Right, I'm going to put that on the LinkedIn right now. And then there were other things on climate change. There was one for tech for transparency, a bunch of other panels, but it was very interesting. So I just thought you can get a summary here. Let me come back. Yes, I'm going to come back to the chat. This is where thank you. Yeah, this is where I want to hang around with you guys. And so um, let me put it up here. This is the one. This gives a very nice summary. I love it. Okay. You guys got the link that I posted? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I see more people showing up. Please say hello. Other than every time I have it. I run into audio trouble with my share, and you guys are so amazing. And at least you speak up. So you speak up when my audio is mute. I need you to speak up and talk when you're hearing me talk, and we are asking questions, or you come ask me questions. That's also fine with me. I'll really appreciate that. I wanted to share our new RIPS presentation, but given my restream setup, doesn't look like a good idea, is it? What do I do then? So I was thinking, um, if I can come from another Zoom window and join the meeting, you know, and come in and see if I can show you from a shared screen right from here. I don't know if it will allow me. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we did at NeurIPS. Let me share the window, and I'm just going to talk to it, since you cannot hear any voice other than my voice, which is crazy. Which is so crazy, so crazy. And it says also share the audio tab. And I say, yes, please do it. And then it refuses to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go, maybe if I share the whole screen, it will do that. No, it doesn't make a difference. Also share audio tab. So I'm going here. So this is Global South in AI at NeurIPS. That's the non-profit. It's a social affinity group associated with NeurIPS conference. We were at NeurIPS conference. So we kicked off with me and Susanna sitting the stage. Then Roxy Stimson from F5 was there, and she did a presentation about zero trust and how do you actually go build secure AI with connectivity from diverse different platforms and everything. So, and Roxy has this amazing style of speaking, and so she had some fantastic questions. So I'm going to come out of the share. I'm going to ask you one of the questions, right? When you're building AI, so you remember I always talk to you guys, and especially in our classes when we say, are you building AI in the technology industry? So in this LLM case, you'll be doing pre-training or training, or you're building it for a customer in a technology industry. Are you in the technology industry? Are you a technology in the technologist, or a business user in the enterprise industry, or are you a consumer where the AI is permeating everywhere? So what is your role? So be aware of that. So but I'm thinking of people who are building AI right now when I'm asking this question. So if you're building AI models, and you're training the AI with those data, um, who should have access to the data? This was a question that Roxy asked, and I'm going to ask you that. So tell me, add your comments in the LinkedIn. If you are building AI and you have training data, who should have access to that data? So you could be building climate data and public data, that's okay. But if you're looking at customer data, if you're building facial recognition system, and a bunch of facial recognition, like a bunch of faces has been used, if you're giving a loan management system, and an AI that will give loans to people and say yes, give loans, or don't, or deny them loans, and you have data on that, all those data, who should have access to that data? So that's my question. I'm coming back to the LinkedIn to see whether you have a question or comment. I have to refresh my page every time. Nilima, welcome. Thank you for joining. So my question is, this was something that Roxy asked us. And my question to you here is, when you're building AI and you have training data, who should have access to that data in a company? There's no bad answer. Somebody should have access. Guys, speak up and tell me. Add a question. And Susanna, you're not allowed to answer because you were there and already shared your answer at NeurIPS. Anybody else who was not in the room with me at NeurIPS and was listening to Roxy, can you speak up and tell me who should have access to the data that you're sharing, that you're using for training data? So it could be a bunch of faces for facial recognition, bunch of voices for voice recognition, bunch of spreadsheet data to decide whether somebody gets loan, all kinds of stuff, right? So who should have access to that information? Anybody who works in enterprise, tell me what you do typically. Do you get access to the data, training data? What happens to that? Talk to me, guys. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. Silence. I didn't get into audio trouble. I'm just waiting for you guys to talk to me. Tell me. Um, there's no bad answer. There's really no bad answer. Okay, so I see an answer, maybe. Okay. Of course, the data scientist, says Nilima. Okay, so the question was, who has access to the training data? So obviously, we give if it is PII. So many times, lot of the data that is given is also anonymized. So visually, can you see the data of individuals, their PII, their name and address and location? This week, Google said they're going to make handling location data smarter. So if you shared your location data, the rule was that law enforcement could get access to it, and Google said they're going to be more sensitive and privacy preserving about it. So if it is PII, nobody should have access to it. I can tell you from my eBay past, every customer data was tiered based on who should have what access. And I worked in analytics and supported the product team and growth team, and we were not allowed access to all the data. Everybody I onboarded into my team we had to set up different levels of access based on who they were. So you don't get access to customer data if you're a data scientist. You will have access to the data, maybe it's anonymized data if it is PII data. Okay. But for the general part, Nilima is right, because you do get access to faces if you're doing training of faces, right? uh, and the team working on building the AI model. So the question is, how do you preserve the privacy of customers? And by GDPR, if they want the data to not be stored. So there's a lot of things that happen in the tech architecture of how you store the data and access the data, or don't store the data, give it access to the data scientist, and then you flush off the information, right? Flush off the data and things like that. So Roxy was talking about how to do this in a privacy preserving way, and she had a framework called zero trust. I'm just going to put this zero trust in here. You should definitely see Roxy's recording. I'm going to put that on the Jamte newsletter also, right? Okay. Yeah, it is called bit.ly/Jamte newsletter. That's the link for the newsletter. That's the link for the Jamte newsletter, so you can see it. We will send it out on Mondays at 7 p.m. my time here. Okay, I see another comment coming in. Okay, what is going on? Did you guys say something? I'm just seeing a react. Oh, it's just a reaction to the post. Everything shows up as a notification, and I have to kind of reload. Okay. So that was one. So Roxy did that, and then Yashashwini Vishwanath traveled to US to NeurIPS in person, and did this session on machine unlearning. So if the customer with GDPR, customer says, I do not want you to store my data anymore. It's called right to be forgotten. And if can current systems, machine learning systems, deep learning systems, can they forget data that they've learned? In fact, I'm working on publishing a paper with a couple of my students, and this is Yashashwini is the lead PI on that paper on what is the state of machine learning today. And then I started digging deeper on how does the machine learn, what is the structure of how the data is stored in a neural network, how does it learn in a large language model. I've done a couple webinars in Weekly Wednesday in the recent past. So if you go to my YouTube, you'll find at least 4 or 5 of weeks webinars. You can see how the LLM stores data in its brain. So yes, just because you delete the data doesn't mean the AI forgets the data. So that is machine unlearning, and there are new techniques evolving. And that is what Yashashwini is doing a PhD on, and she spoke to us about that. So thank you, Yash. Who else was there? Parya Sarin joined us remote, and she presented what we have learned this year from our work from running Global South in AI. How many different um, presentation posters did we get from various different countries and language supported? Let me see, where was Pariya's session? I'm trying to go to, yes, I'm not sharing it. I'm actually, because you're not able to hear when I share, I'm not going to share. I'm just going to do the talking, but I'm going to see whether I can get to the right place where I can show you that her screen where she was sharing this with us is what I'm going for. Pariya Sarin. Let me go back. And John Havens was there, and he was talking about LLM and sustainability. So, one second. 1 second, I'm sharing. No, I'm not sharing, guys. I know that. I'm trying to get to that one beautiful. Yes, I got it. Okay, I'm coming back to share. It's going to be an empty screen where you don't hear the video, so I'm not going to show you a video. Yes. See how we adapt as humans? It is sad that I have to adapt, that I will not get audio when I share a screen, but I'm going to do all the talking. So this was from Paria, showing what are the different kind of topics we got in terms of our posters, the selected author posters. And you're going to see a lot of this on the 19th, on Tuesday, at our virtual poster sessions. I will again share the link. It'll be on the Jamte newsletter. I'll also put it on LinkedIn. Please don't miss it. It's amazing, diverse set of people from so many different worlds. So this time call, we said it's about generative AI. Tell us, what are you seeing in your country, in your language? Is it good? Is it bad? Is there something that you're missing? So there was one about generative AI for literacy in Mali, Bambara language. And Chris, the author, was already there in person. So he presented the poster. I also have a little video clip of that. The There's one machine unlearning one that Yashashwini is working on. She had that for Kannada language. There is something on generative AI on Telugu language. Um, we also had Christine come in from Shanghai and talk about small language models. Do we need large language models? What if we use small language models? And then I'm very excited about this exploring generative AI in Nigerian mixed media art. That's going to be a poster on the 19th at our virtual session. Then there's a brush for the blind, inclusion for gender and cultural nuances, empowering NLP for African low resource language, leveraging Llama 2 for Swahili and Kenyan dialects. So it's amazing stuff. I am so excited. I felt like listening to all the different workshops, and coming back, I felt like I was maxed out. And I walked around, and this creative AI was one of the presentations I attended, and saw the poster session I attended. I attended even the regular, I did a lot of poster sessions. I didn't go to many other workshops. I'm hoping to catch up and watch some of the recordings. So I thought I was maxed out, but I'm recharged back. I'm ready for more. So I'm ready for the Tuesday virtual posters. And I'm just telling you about our posters from Global South. This is a common virtual poster session, so it's open for everybody. So I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to attend this on Tuesday. I'll share the link. I will also try and do a little video as I go to different sessions as people are presenting. I did that last year too, and I'll collect that. I'll bring it to you on weekly Wednesday, on Wednesday morning. So my plan is on Wednesday, I'm going to do weekly Wednesday with you, bring the stuff, and then I'm going to wrap up and then go off for the holidays. So that and then we won't have weekly Wednesday. We will meet again in the new year. So that's my current plan. And talking of art, there was a call from Josh Abrams. He's looking for a artist or muralist to illustrate or paint the story of contracts. Yes, contracts, like legal contracts, right? I'm going to show this so you can read it for yourself. You can see the link. He's a serial entrepreneur. I've worked with him in my eBay past. He's looking at like 1,000 square feet in San Francisco. He wants people to DM him with their portfolios so he can, select an artist and paint the creative version of telling their story of contracts in their new headquarters. So thank you, Josh, and I will share this also. So let me put this right now in the LinkedIn. So if you have a friend who is an artist who would be able to do this, and DM Josh. Yeah, I'm sharing that link right now. Josh Abrams. So of course his startup is in that place, in that space, right? The whole contract space, I'm guessing. So that is why he wants a mural on their wall, which I thought was still very cool, right? Hold on. Okay, so you see that, and DM Josh, or send a friend if that is their thing. Like if you have friends who are in that space, definitely send them to that. I am not at all doing justice to John Haven's presentation. He did such a fantastic job, and he comes from a music background. So he played a little music for us. And then he spoke about I've read some of John's books, so he did a background on that. But he was talking about Mozilla's privacy by design. We had discussed that last week about how Mozilla did this privacy by design, and we had shocking kind of information collected in the car data. So he's talking about that, and he was talking about sustainability and the planet. And he's a grassroots collaborator, and he knows to mobilize people. So he was calling for collaboration. So it was fantastic talk. I would love for you to see that. So I'm going to bring that all back for you in our links. And I believe I did share this for people to see live on when we did this on during the workshop at NeurIPS. If you missed that, we're going to bring snippets of this back in our YouTube. So eventually you can catch up if you didn't have a NeurIPS pass or it's not accessible. Right now, if you go to NeurIPS and you say social affinity groups, it goes there, and I'm able to see the stream. So uh, tell me if you're not able to see, if you don't have the pass for it, then I will put it onto the YouTube. So there's a couple more opportunities that are out there. I told you I saw the art and stuff, and then I'm seeing that all around me somehow, right? So there is also a canvas for the future, an AI driven art contest by ITU, which is affiliated with UN, their AI for Good platform, in collaboration with Shutterstock. That is also here happening. That call came out just this week too. So I'm surprised why I had a bunch. And it's not just my feed showed up, these are like my normal sources where I found this. So I think it is not a bias that I might be mentally biased because I saw a bunch of art, I loved it, and I'm trying to tune in. But this did show up on my feed. And then event wise, there is a digital civil society speaker series called Shifting the Frame, the Labors of ImageNet and AI Data at the Stanford Digital Civil Society by Dr. Alex Hanna. And Jan 25th, we'll be bringing this back to you. But there is this Believing is the First Step to Change by Anita Hill at the Clayman Institute. Also heard from Congressman Ro Khanna in US uh, about the five eyes like eyes for AI oversight, which also I'm going to share with you. So there's a lot of stuff happening in regulation space, and we had a discussion about AI ethics in the panel that I did on the 14th. And there's a lot more other things. Whichever I was involved in was more about creative stuff. Somehow there was a lot of how do you use AI for creative art, and is it biased? And I'm sure Susanna Raj is going to be sharing her poster on what she has done. Maybe she'll do another RZIF post on it. But she was actually showing how AI is biased. I'm going to see. No, I cannot show it from here. I'm trying to see whether there is a way for me to share uh, the creative art posters, but I think it might be better since we are like kind of end of the hour. I'm going to compile that into a nice 20 minutes or 10 minutes maybe video on YouTube, and you can just watch it, hear it, dance to it, sing to it, and enjoy the art and see all the creative AI posters that's out there. Enjoy the tech. So, but I have to do this because it's at 30 minutes long, and I'm going to bring it down to 10 minutes. So you got 30 minutes 20 minutes saved right there. Talking of what data that is the AI people having access to when they're building AI. And we heard about how the data scientist has access. And then do you remember Ida? Let me go back and locate her for you guys so you can let's see who I'm talking about. She is an awesome person. Okay. No sound. I can share screens, plain screens, and keep talking. Yes, Restream gives me permission for that. And I had an amazing conversation about agency with Susanna. And then in my talk at the Digital Economist, I was talking about how everybody should have agency and not be limited. And I do not feel like it's limitless when you cannot hear my recordings. So technology is limiting me from sharing audio. But anyways, I've adapted and I'm not sharing audio. I'm just showing you Ida Helena Russ's profile. She is an amazing person. She had come and spoken to us at Weekly Ved. And I love how she thinks, and she's a PhD candidate for critical thinking and creativity in the era of artificial superintelligence as a god. So she did a very interesting presentation about different definitions of God and AI as a god. So that was what she was talking to us about in Weekly Wednesday earlier in the year, I believe. So the reason I'm actually showing you her profile here is because she posted a question saying everyone is trying chat gpt. I'm wondering what happens with all the questions. I cannot find information on this. And Susanna always teases me saying, when anybody posts a question like this, you come and as the technologist and you say, this is how it works and this is what happens. And you give an answer of how tech industry is doing this. So I was amused. I was not the one who did that, but there was a bunch of people who posted answers on, oh, all those questions must be collected by chat gpt and it must be used for retraining, and that is how you get the feedback. And they had a whole bunch of jargons on how this whole reinforced human centered learning happens. But the question was, you prompt ChatGPT, ask it some question. I ask ChatGPT some question. What exactly happens to those questions? So does that mean ChatGPT forgets those questions? Does it just not store the question? And I always tell people, and I did this when I did a recent session with somebody, saying, anytime you have a question, anytime you find a jargon, there is an AI we can talk to and find our answers. So I thought, I am not going to just let go of this thing. This is what is done. The data is training the model. Okay, if the data is training the model, then what is happening? Where is it stored? So I'm going to talk to ChatGPT right now, and I'm just to be neutral, I'm going to talk to Bard also. Okay. So here I am going to ChatGPT, and I am saying, are the questions people ask you stored in a database? Because somebody said it's training, right? Database somewhere. Okay. Let's see what ChatGPT says. No, I don't have the capacity to store or remember personal data from individual interactions. My primary function is to provide information, blah, blah, blah. Your privacy and confidential is important to us. That's it. So it's basically saying it is not storing that information. So I want somebody to tag Ida Helena Rust and tell her ChatGPT is not storing your information. It's not storing, right? I'm going to say this right now in the chat, and I'm going to say, Ida, ChatGPT says it does not store our questions. What I loved about Ida's question was, it's a very lateral kind of thinking, right? Here are the technologists who all have access to all the training data. Nilima confirmed that. And they just said, training data, bunch of questions. We are going to retrain the model. And it is sitting in a database. It's a bunch of words. And we are going to create embeddings, vectorizations, feed it and store it and create connections and the brain of the model, right? That's all tech. And we are saying that's what we're building. We lose focus on why we are doing what we are doing. What is it that our customers are saying? So we are the customers of ChatGPT. We are the data, unfortunately, but we are also the customers providing the data. So Ida's thinking is, variety of different questions are brought in and different people are asking different questions. Is there some information what kind of questions they're asking? Is there some behavioral information, is there psychology, and whatever else she's thinking about it. She was actually trying to see, can I get access to that questions? Can I find out something interesting? Why throw away those questions? This is our history. At this point in time, millions of people are talking to ChatGPT. Why throw away that answer? ChatGPT says, I am throwing away all your questions, prompts at the end of a session. I'm not storing it. Okay. So, any question, comments, guys? I'm going to go talk to Bard and see what it does, because Bard is from Google. They are not going to throw away your data. I can tell you that much. Okay. So, anybody has any questions, comments on this? So, we started out with Roxy asking us at NeurIPS what. About data, right? Who has access to your data? And her whole session was about secure data and not invading our privacy, whatnot. uh, Yash said about your right to be forgotten after the model has been trained with the data. Ida was asking somebody what happens to all the questions that we ask ChatGPT, and somebody in the comment said it must be stored to train and retrain the chat models, which is what the answer I also thought as a technologist. And right now, I talked to ChatGPT along with you, and it surprised us and said, no, 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 I'm not storing your data. So before I go to Bard, Neelima, do you have a comment? Because ChatGPT is throwing away the data. It is not learning. It is not storing. It's a loss, I think, but it is also a privacy invasion if it ends up keeping the data. So they're not even giving us a choice and asking us, right, whether they can keep the data to train. If they keep my prompts to train ChatGPT, I would have said yes, but they didn't ask me that. Somebody made that decision for me already. No agency here. Okay, so I'm going to go to Bard. I'm going to ask the same question. I'm going to copy over the same uh, phrase, right? Are the questions people ask you stored? So you know what? Instead of saying ask you, if I say are the questions people ask Chat GPT stored, Chat GPT stored in a database. No, I'm not sharing. I'll come back, share that. I'm just curious because sometimes the prompt does a different thing, makes it behave differently. So I'm saying, are the questions people ask Chat GPT stored in a database someplace? And I'm asking that. And then it gives me two choice. And which answer do you like better? It says, as of my last update in Jan 22, OpenAI retains data sent to the models for 30 days. Isn't this contradictory, guys? It said, I don't have the capabilities to store personal information. I don't have access to data. It says, as of my last knowledge, an update in Jan 22, OpenAI retains data sent to the model for 30 days, but do not use the data sent via the API to improve the models. Okay. So we are not doing this by the API, are we? We are just prompting. It's important to check their policy, blah, blah, blah. And it's saying the same thing. Here it says it retains data from interactions with ChatGPT for a short period, but it no longer uses the data sent via the user interface to improve its model. Okay, then it says it shares its privacy. So I don't know. I do not want to believe ChatGPT because it said two different things which are contradictory to each other. So thank you, Ida, for giving that question that you got us thinking. Thank you, Roxy, for getting us thinking because it is found gotten to a place where we don't have the answer now. That is the beauty of this, right? um, okay, any question, comment? I think okay, Nilima has a comment. Thank you, Nilima. I think it's good that it's throwing it away because 95% of the interaction with ChatGPT are now only to retrieve the information. Okay, so Nilima, tell us a little bit. When you say 95% of the interaction are only to retrieve, are you saying that the data is stored somewhere, and or it's not actually stored, but it is kind of organized so that it can find similar things? I've heard this in chatbot building, that you can't, every time there's a prompt, it can't go search its entire memory and bring information. It will find similar items and store it. So it's kind of creating some embeddings and storing that, but not the whole data. So if it is different from my understanding, tell me that. But ChatGPT contradicted itself and said it keeps it for 30 days. So somebody tell me what is the reality of that, or go you know go prompt it more to find out. But before I close out, I don't want to be biased. I'm going to go to Bard, and I'm going to ask the same question. Hold on, I'm asking the same questions. Are the questions people ask, let me come back, share this window with you guys. So I'm doing this live with you. Da-da-da. What do you think Bart is going to say, guys? Do you think Bart is going to say, I'm stirring the data, I'm not sharing the data? What is this? What are this? I bought a fiddle leaf. I don't know what. I did a save, right? I just cut and pasted from here. Or the questions, people. I don't know what this fiddle leaf or whatever. Some autocorrect happened. Brilliant, smart artificial intelligence did something. Uh, Coming back to the prompt window. Okay. So it says, are the questions people ask? Okay, I don't want to ask Bard about ChatGPT. Are the questions people ask Bard stored in a database somewhere? So before I press enter, I'm going to get the answer. Does anybody in the chat have a comment or a guess on whether it stores the data? It says, I do not store the data. Or like ChatGPT changed its mind and gave a second answer and it says it stores for 30 days. Is it going to say something contradictory? What do you think it is going to say? I'm going to stop the window, come back, see if you have a question, comment, anything that you're saying. This is your time to guess. Is it storing? Is it not storing our questions? And we're going to get answers for Ida, and then I need to go and let you guys go into the weekend because we are past an hour, right? So let me go back, share the screen, and see what Bard has to say. My gut is that it is going to store the data and say that something nicely in a privacy preserving way. Okay. So, are the questions people ask Bard stored in a database somewhere? The answer to whether depends on anonymity level of the interaction. Okay, Bard interactions not linked to a Google account. In this case, conversations are kept for 72 hours to improve Bard's performance. Okay, the interactions are anonymized and specific questions aren't stored indefinitely. Bard interaction linked to a Google account, they will be saved for up to 3 years with your account. The specific questions are not directly stored. They are anonymized and used statistically to improve Bard's performance. Review stage of the interaction. This is the anonymity level. Review stages. Regular Bard interactions are not stored permanently unless they are selected for human review and annotation. I don't know who does the selection. Reviewed and annotated interactions. A small portion of interactions are selected for review and annotation by human experts. Okay. Even when stored for research, all PII is removed. That is what I wanted to find out. Your individual questions are not used for target advertisement. You can delete your Bard activity and all that stuff. Okay. Just so you know, I did ask Bard the same question. Are the questions people ask Bard stored in a database somewhere? Right? I want you to try this. The question, right? Are the questions people ask ChatGPT stored somewhere? Go ask Chat. Okay. Are the questions people ask Bard stored somewhere? Go ask Bard. And I want to see what your answer is, right? What answer you're getting. Because for me, ChatGPT said, no, I'm not storing it. And then within the same session with us, it basically said it stores for 30 days. Bard says if it is affiliated with a Google account, then it stays for years, 3 years. Otherwise, it doesn't. And I asked this question: are the question people ask Bard stored in a database somewhere? And it told, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop sharing. It told me, yes, the questions people ask Bard are stored in a database. The database is essential for Bard's learning and improvement. It says question reception. This is the techie version of the answer that somebody wrote to Ida's comment. It's giving me a similar thing. It said this. Question reception. When a user asks Bard a question, it's first received by Google servers. Then it does pre-processing, which involves tasks like cleaning, tokenization, and identifying key concepts and entities. I believe, Nilima, that is what you're saying, that 95% are used for retrieval. And then the pre-processed question is stored in Bard's database. This can be massive, billions of questions over time. Then it does the retrieval for response generation. When it needs to answer a new question, it retrieves relevant questions from the database on similarities and keywords. So this is what I think you are going for, Nilima. Tell me if it is anything different. And learning from feedback, it also uses the database to track user feedback as on its response. If a user indicates a response for helpful or unhelpful, this information is stored. Then it does for model training. And then they always say that database security, anonymization, limited access only to authorized users, data security, privacy protection, all that amazing stuff. So I just wanted to, you guys to think about it, right? We are talking about data and privacy on applications that are built and how it is violating privacy. And that has been the discussion in the AI ethics world, including the digital economist conference that I participated in. But every time you interact with any AI, it is collecting data. So we talk about we are the training data. It's looking at our face. But Ida asked us a question: is it storing the data? What does it do? Yash asked the question: is it unlearning when the data is removed? Roxy asked the question: internally, when you are building as a data scientist, do you have access to the data? And as in analytics, you will say they have different levels of privacy. So there are a lot of different answers here, guys, and GPT gave us two answers, and one of them is a lie. I don't know if it is hallucinating or whether there are, multiple truths. Or and Bard gave me two versions. I saw one version which I saw with you, where it said if you're a registered user and it knows your Google account, it's going to keep it for 3 years. Otherwise, for 72 hours. It's kind of such a disparity. So one of the things I always tell my students, whether you're an MBA visiting group here talking to me, whether you're one of the Barcelona technology students in any of the four masters who's talking actual AI ethics topics with me, or a UX designer talking to me from Elisava University, or if you're a designer out to change the world, or my Stanford students, right? Um, or here you are, right, talking to me. I want you to think about your role, because we talk about diversity and variety of people coming in. There was a comment posted at the stream and at NeurIPS about this whole concept of inclusion, and I refer to Susanna Raj's inclusive construct paper on RZIV and said, diversity and inclusion, you have to think about it from various different dimensions, and there's a very logical empirical way of defining inclusion in all dimensions. And she has this inclusive construct concept that she's published. And I was saying that, but think about, that's a very, you can take it at a macro view, or as you're going through using every AI. And I did this exact same demo and a point at Google Dev Fest last Friday, before I talked to you guys at here at Sudha Live, that any topic you come across, any jargon you come across, any concept you're questioning, anything you have as you're engaging with AI, test it, break it, make it fine, get you answers. I have no answers after talking and listening to Roxy, uh, um, Yash, John, and Susanna and Parya on our workshop, and coming here and seeing Ida is asking a similar question about the data on the prompts that we are interacting with all the generative AI. I'm shocked, because one of the things, I'm a very eternal optimist, and I was thinking it's a good thing. Generative AI is interacting with us. Unlike regular AI, we have to prompt it and make the AI do something. That means I thought we had control. And then suddenly I'm like, okay, what is happening with all the data, that questions that we ask, the prompts that we do? And we just looked at two of them, and we got two answers from chat GPT, and one answer from Bard, and another answer from technologists who talk about how it is stored for similarities. So I want you to think about it. I would love for you to prompt and find out what you hear, and tell me if you hear anything different, and post your answer here in the comment. And I will share this. I'll do a screen grab of what Bard did and what Chat GPT did. I'll put it out in the newsletter so we can think about it. But I want you to think, whether you're a technologist, you're training the model, you have access to data, you are sitting here building the chatbot and creating the actual chatbot application like a Chat GPT or Bard. Who's making this decision that it is stored for 72 hours if it is a non-connected user, and why 72 hours and not 48 hours or a week? What is this magical number, and what happens for 72 hours with that data? um, and then this whole reinforced human feedback that helps train the chatbot is important. I definitely think it's important. I was at a meeting with Ken Heran from UIB, and they make this mother of all chatbot platforms, which talks to unified messaging platform that talks to all kinds of messaging platforms. And they have ChatGPT and all the other possible, the NLP based chatbots, building possibility built into their platform. So you can go to UIB and build a chatbot for your business and think about various different business applications, and you can chat with it using any of the chat platforms in the world or from a text, and super simple. And I'm actually working on building a course for LinkedIn Learning about generative AI for business using no code. And so I'm kind of playing with everything that is used to build chatbots and agent AI and generative AI. So I looked at Ken's platform. So I'm curious about the world of chatbots and who is involved in making these decisions, and is the having a human interface in there, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And what are we doing with this data? Who makes these decisions, and do we need this data to be stored? And from a going out of the technology world, is this a good thing that we are asking these questions of this chatbot? Is that a piece of our history that we are throwing away, somebody is throwing away? um, is that a privacy preserving way by which we can collect information and do something with that? I have more questions than I started. That is the best place I would like to leave you with. And with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for hanging around and engaging, answering questions, and asking me more. Um, I am going to make sure that I work with Paria and get all of the things the links we shared. And then I could not share because the sound was not coming when I did the restream thing, sharing on restream. So I'm going to put all of those also. And we got some beautiful art pictures that I've taken everywhere. So I'm going to put some of that on the Jamte newsletter. So tune in, check the Jamte newsletter, and then I'll tell you how to watch the live virtual posters on Tuesday, the 19th from NeurIPS. And I will see you back on Weekly Wed before I take off for the holidays. Okay. Stay safe. That's quite a tongue twister. Stay safe, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. And I will see you on Wednesday. I'll see you online on the 19th if you're able to join. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay. And if you're already taking off for the holidays, have a safe holiday season. And I will see you in the new year. Okay. Bye, everybody. Okay, I'm going to stop the stream. Bye.